So I'm going to try and explain why this third grade formula identity for combinatorics works. So overall, our idea is how many ways can we put n objects into three groups. So the right side of this equation is that idea. So for each object, you have three options for where you can put one of the objects there. So then you just get 3 times 3 for the n number of objects you have. Now on the left side, it takes a different approach to that, where instead we think of it as putting a certain amount of objects into one group and then giving the rest of the objects to the other groups. So the binomial coefficient in the left side is how many options for putting into one group. So for example, the first term, you could say, the binomial coefficient of n choose 0. So for that first group, you're choosing 0 to put into that group. And then the rest, you're distributing it into two groups. That's where that 2n comes from, 2 to the power of n comes in. Going to the next term, similarly, we do n choose 1. So out of the n objects, we're choosing essentially 1 to put in, and then the rest, 2 to the power of n minus 1, goes to the other two groups. So I ended up doing a small example on the right side. So let's say n equals 2. So for that first term, n choose 0, for the first group, we're choosing out of the two objects, choosing none of them to put inside that group. So the rest of those objects are distributed to the other two groups. So then we have two objects into two groups. So there's 4 ways of doing that. And then for the second term, we're choosing one of those objects to put in. So there's 2 options for how we can do that. And then we're distributing the one last object into the other two groups. And then for the final one, we're choosing both objects. So there's only one way to put both objects into one group. And then the rest, which is nothing, goes into is given nothing to the other two groups. And then the math at the bottom, we see for n choose 0, that's 1 times 2 to the power 2 plus 2 n choose 1 times 2 to the power of 1. And then we have 1 times 2 to the power 0, which is also 1. So we get 4 plus 1, which is 9, which then is 3 to the power 2. Hope that helps.